Aboriginal rappers talk about their music and country is up next. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Carol Bobby from Tom Price and you're listening to Noongar Radio.
Joining me is Matt Ward and he's an author of the Real Talk, the book, talking about rappers and their music and their country. Matt, welcome to the program and thanks for your time, brother boy.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So, Matt, you're the author of Real Talk. Can you tell us firstly a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. The title of the book is Real Talk, Aboriginal Rappers Talk About Their Music and Country, and as you can hear from my accent, I'm not Aboriginal nor even Australian. I'm just a huge music fan that first came out to this country about 20 years ago. And since pretty much the start of the internet, I've been listening to radio shows from all over the world. And over here in Sydney, when I heard the Indigenous hip-hop show on Corey Radio, I was just astounded by the quality of the music and the lyrics. It just had so much to say. And so I started uploading that radio show to the internet via a Facebook page called Australian Aboriginal Hip Hop, and I knew that there would be a hunger worldwide to hear that sort of music, and so far we've got listeners or people downloading the show in 20 different countries and about 3,000 followers on Twitter and Facebook. So because these artists had so much to say and they were being pretty much ignored by the mainstream media, I started interviewing them for a newspaper that I do voluntary work for, which is called Green Left Weekly. It's a national non-corporate newspaper that's about to print its 1,000th issue, and they really pride themselves on printing what the mainstream media won't print or ignore. So because these artists had so much to say and were so politically astute and politically sharp, we started interviewing them and putting them in the paper, and after a while we had so many of these interviews that I just thought I'd put a book out compiling them all. So the book contains 26 artists, I think, and it's there on the internet, available for free at its own website, realtalkthebook.com, and people can download it for free wherever they are.
So tell us a bit about the book. What does it feature? You know, what's the aim of the book?
Well, it's aimed at a worldwide audience. I mean, obviously, because I'm not Aboriginal, I don't claim to fully understand Aboriginal culture, nor do I think it's appropriate for non-Aboriginal people to claim that they do. So very clearly at the start of the book, I say this is just an introduction to the artists, and people should search them out and follow them in their own unedited words. What I always do is make sure that whoever's featured in the book is entirely happy with what's being published before it's published, so that we're not misrepresenting them in any way. But because I am not from this country, I know that there's a real thirst for Aboriginal culture and politics and history from outside Australia, and I would say it's even stronger from outside Australia. So the book is really aimed at a worldwide audience, not necessarily a hip-hop audience, just for anybody that's interested in Aboriginal culture, really, because these artists have so much to say. They touch on all aspects of Aboriginal culture and history and politics and so on. So it's a great way for people worldwide to learn about the Aboriginal story, you know, because hip-hop is a great medium for storytelling, just as country music is, you know.
Well, thanks for clearing that up, that, you know, you don't consider yourself an expert of Aboriginal culture, yeah. But the sounds of it, the book is more or less a introduction to some of the Aboriginal hip-hop artists. Who are we talking about? Who's featured in the book?
We've got everyone from the bigger names like Jimblah and Sky High and The Less Connection, through to ones that are probably a little too radical for the mainstream to handle, that don't get any attention from the mainstream media, such as Provocalz, who's a very radical young Sydney rapper, whose interview actually ends up with the pair of us being questioned by police.
OMG. Really? For real?
That's a real interesting read, yeah. Impossible Odds are a very radical band from up in Brisbane, who are just amazing live, but they don't get the attention that they deserve, and that particular interview in the book has come in for a lot of praise. we've got all sorts of underground rappers that only really get played on Monkey Muck's indigenous hip-hop show. And I think Monkey Muck has got fantastic taste in that he picks the artists that do have a lot to say, and that are real world class as well, I think, in terms of their production and so on.
If I can just read one of the quotes from Munk, he says, "Matt, you always do a good job with the interviews," and that's good coming from him because he's very well known as not just a broadcaster but also as a rapper as well. So that's great. And another quote here from Jimblah. He says it's an incredible read, and he's talking about the Impossible Odds interview. So it's free, hey?
It's free, yeah. It's free. It's free to anyone that goes to realtalkthebook.com. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can just download it straight there, or you can read it online with audio and video, so you can hear exactly, the artist that's being interviewed right there. And then there's audio files and video files on the website there if you just want to dip in and out of it online.
Deadly. Now, big question, Matt. Are there any hip-hop artists from Perth featured in the book?
There is. There's a great guy called Bright MC. Yeah.
Too Deadly. Yes, we know Bright.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Awesome.
do. Yeah. And he's so knowledgeable about the industry because he went to Aboriginal Music College, and he does remote workshops. So he's travelled all over the country, and he really sees the two sides of the country. And he's a very interesting character as well. He was raised by a white foster family over in Brisbane. So he sees a lot of different aspects of Australia, and he's very diplomatic, and he's also well known by the mainstream Australian hip hop scene because he's very high quality, his production, and he's got a lot of humour. He injects a lot of humour into his work as well, so that has real crossover appeal,
And he's very versatile. I don't know if you know this, but he's over here a Motown tribute has been put together with 4 guys, and he's one of them. He's singing Motown.
Is that right? No, I didn't know that about him. I'm sure there's loads that I don't know about Bright MC, and he'll keep surprising us over the years. Yeah,
you can see it all on Facebook. The group is called the Dulcet Tones. So, yeah, some great stories there. Can you? I just want to go back to the book and the stories within there. Like, Jimblah. Tell us a bit about Jimblah's story in the book there. Since I brought his name up early part.
Yeah, Jimblah. I was lucky to know Jimblah before he was signed up to Elephant Tracks through Munk's show. So I interviewed him when he was not getting much attention, and he was working a lot with prisoners there. I think for about a decade he was working with prisoners and kids in detention. So his first album was put out independently, and it was just so obvious that he had that real raw talent. And of course he's been releasing tracks on compilations and stuff as a kid before then as James Alberts. But it's great to watch his story as he got signed to Elephant Tracks and got a lot of attention from white Australia that wouldn't have normally heard about him, and to see him release that second album, and it's such a high quality album, and to get in the production that Elephant Tracks were able to open him up to, and it's been praised right across the board, that latest album of his. So Jimblah's a real he really puts himself out there politically and really stirs things up, and it's painful for him. I think it's a very painful process, but he still does it, and I think that's a very brave thing to do because he says it needs to be talked about, these things, these issues, and it's certainly not an easy ride for him. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but I've got huge respect for him for being able to do what he does and not pack it all in.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, I'm sure there's similar stories just lying around Perth, WA, to be featured in Real Talk the book. What if hip-hop artists over this way are interested? I mean, do you have to audition? How do they contact you to just find out a bit more how they can be involved?
Oh, yeah, there's an email address at realtalkthebook.com or at facebook.com/aboriginalrap or youtube.com/aboriginalrap or twitter.com/aboriginalrap. They can get me through that. But yeah, definitely we want to cover more from Perth.
A big thank you to you, Matt Ward, and wow, it sounds like a huge job to put together. So I take my hat off to you, brother.
Oh, thank you. And hopefully it'll inspire Aboriginal writers to pick up the gauntlet and do their own thing, because it should be Aboriginal people that are writing about it, really.
Real Talk the book, Aboriginal rappers talk about their music and country. It's a free book, and it's just downloadable at www.realtalkthebook.com. And yes, if you are in the Perth area, I reckon you should get your piece of the pie, so to speak, and be involved. To one of the groups featured in Real Talk the book, The Last Connection.
Deadly, 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 deadly. I'm black and deadly. I'm black and deadly. I'm black and deadly. I'm black and deadly. When you see us on the street, you don't really want to speak to us. You don't know we're black and deadly. When you see us at a show, oh, now you want to know us, cause you know we're black and deadly. When you see us in the car, you don't know who we are. It don't matter cause we're black and deadly. When you hear us on the radio, now you really want to know us, cause we're black and deadly. You act like you never seen an Aboriginal before. Like you're not happy for me, now I got my foot in the door. They don't want to see me do it, they'd rather hand me a beer so I can go and mess my head up and forget a career. Oh, there you get ghost starter like the DJ scratches. I'm like a jerry can in the box of matches. Explosive but won't take long until you know this. My royalty checks are the proof I wrote this. You give me dirty looks like you wanna fight me. Yeah, your daughter wants to grow up to be just like me. I bet you hate me now, cause your boys and your brothers wanna date me now. I'm black and deadly, yeah, you know what I mean. If you don't believe me, bring your crew, bring your team, cause you think it's just a show. Cut the lights, close the curtain. You're trying to shut us down, but it's just not working. When you see us on the street, you don't really want to speak to us. You don't know we're black and deadly. When you see us at a show, oh, now you want to know us, cause you know we're black and deadly. When you see us in the car, you don't know who we are. It don't matter cause we're black and deadly. When you hear us on the radio, now you really want to know us, cause we're black and deadly.
See them looking down at me like I'm nothing but trouble, so I pull them up, attack and give it back it on double. And they putting us away like any minority. But if you know the prison system, we're the living majority. It's survival of the fittest, we're the cream of the crop. From planting the hard seeds to the time that we're locked, we understanding trees while they choking my knees. An invasion of weeds who only wanna be trees. Introduce rentees, mixing up the species. Good way, we say, I'm a bunch of mixies. I'm French, German, Nepalese, Kanak and Cubby Cubby. The French don't recognise me, the Germans don't know me. Kanakans recognise me and say, hey, he's a Murray. Can anyone tell me what it is to be an Aussie? Cause all I'm hearing is what an Aussie isn't. Lucky country for some, but for others it isn't. We die for our country, we fight for our country. Now the flag of our country represents another country. Religion flags people is only second hand, and they don't mean shit if there is no land. We don't own the land, cause the land owns us. We would drown without it, does fine without us. The values of this country is the land itself, and we selling it out for a false sense of wealth.
When you see us on the street, you don't really want to speak to us. You don't know we're black and deadly. When you see us at a show, oh, now you want to know us, cause you know we're black and deadly. When you see us in the car, you don't know who we are. It don't matter cause we're black and deadly. When you hear us on the
Hey, what up, y'all? This is Bright. You're listening to Urban Grind 626 on Noongar Radio.